Hello friends, this is Normal here for Technique, and in this video we're going to compare two mid-range phones, the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, which is a ZC553KL variant, the 5.5-inch variant. We're going to compare it with the Moto G4 Plus, which is a popular mid-range phone from Moto, and we'll do a detailed aspects about these two phones, including the design, the build quality, display, software, performance, camera and battery life, and we'll decide which is a better device to buy out of these two phones. So let's get started with a detailed comparison. So let's start off with design and build quality. So design wise, you could see that they're quite different in terms of the design and build quality. We have a metallic chassis and unibody design on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, while we have a plastic finishing on the Moto G4 Plus. So in terms of the build quality, definitely the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max offers a much better build quality. It's a metallic build, it's a curved edges and also looks quite good. While on the other hand, the Moto G4 Plus isn't the best device in terms of the looks, and a decent build quality is being offered on this device, even though it's a plastic finish. So in terms of the design and build, we will give it to the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max for the metallic build and superior build quality. So that's the design and build quality of these two phones. Now let's talk about other display. So here we have a Full HD 5.5 inches display, both are 1080p panels and IPS LCD displays. Now the display quality on both these phones are quite good. The viewing angles are pretty decent. Overall, the clarity of the display looks quite good on both the phones. So there's no major difference in terms of display performance. Both are having good overall clarity in terms of display performance, and the touch response on both the displays are quite good. So there's no clear winner in terms of the display performance. Now let's talk about the software and the performance aspect. So first up, let's see the software on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So we have the Zen UI, which is the latest version, Zen UI 3.1, and we have a lot of new features being added here. We have a mobile manager which manages your phone, including the data usage. You can improve the performance, boost the performance. There is power save mode, cleanup for junk files. So a lot of features are included. We also have a custom notification panel with quick toggles, which are quite different from stock experience. So now we also have some added features which include support for themes, wallpapers, icon packs, and you have options to lock apps. So these are some of the really useful options. So if you're looking for a customized version or looking for a lot of customization, this is one really good UI to choose, because it does come with a lot of additional themes. You can download themes are included. So this is one area where the ASUS Zenfone Zen UI really works well because of the customization options being offered. Now one of the issues with the Zen UI is the amount of bloatwares included. So you can see here a lot of bloatwares are included. So that thing ASUS could have avoided, but still it comes with a lot of bloatwares. Now talking about the software and UI of the Moto G4 Plus, so we have this stock Android and basic apps included, no third-party app included apart from the Moto app. So Moto app offers some decent options like actions and display gestures. So that's the only thing available on the Moto G4 Plus, and we have this stock like UI, and we can also see the notification center and quick toggles are exactly the same like what you see on the stock Android. So if you're a person who loves the core of stock Android, then this is the device to choose. There's no options for customization apart from the wallpapers. So that's one area the Moto G4 Plus is quite good, offering the stock UI. Now talking about the performance, so here we have the Snapdragon 430 on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, which is coupled with 3GB RAM and 32GB storage, while on the other hand we have the Snapdragon 617 on the Moto G4 Plus coupled with 3GB RAM and 32GB storage. Now talking about the day-to-day performance, we would say both are quite good phones and no major lags or issues in day-to-day experience. Both offer decent performance as well. And overall in day-to-day experience, opening apps, working with apps, social networking and all those things can do pretty well on both these phones, so no major issues. Now talking about the gaming experience, that's where the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max has slightly superior performance, because the performance on the Moto G4 Plus is also quite good, but the major issue with the Moto G4 Plus is the heating. So the heating on this device is pretty high, and even when we tested recently, the heating was almost close to 48 to 50 degrees. So that's way too high heating on this device, so that has not been fixed yet. And on the other hand, the Zenfone 3 Max produces decent gaming experience. So the heating issue on the Moto G4 Plus is definitely a concern, because if you use the camera for almost 15 to 20 minutes continuously, then you can see that the camera lags and heat generated is pretty high. So that's a major issue with the Moto G4 Plus. Now talking about the other aspects, the call quality on both the phones are quite good, no major lags or issues. We have speaker performance also quite decent. We have a front facing speaker on the Moto G4 Plus, and we have a decent speaker performance on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max as well. Now both these phones have 3GB RAM, 32GB storage, and both offer 4G LTE support and dual SIM card. So we have a dedicated micro SD card support on the Moto G4 Plus, while it's a hybrid SIM card on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Now looking at the benchmark scores of these two phones, you could see that both are almost similar in terms of the benchmark performance. The Snapdragon 430 is relatively a newer processor, while the Snapdragon 617 is almost a year old. But you can see that the benchmark scores are almost similar on both these phones. Now let's move on to the camera performance. So we have a 16 megapixel shooter on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, and we have dual tone, dual LED flash, laser autofocus, and we also have a 16 megapixel shooter on the Moto G4 Plus, and dual tone, dual LED flash and laser autofocus along with face detection autofocus. And we have a 8 megapixel camera on the Zenfone 3 Max, that's a front facing camera, while it's a 5 megapixel shooter on the Moto G4 Plus. Now looking at the camera interface, you could see that the camera interface is pretty simple on the Moto G4 Plus. Very basic options. There is professional mode, but no additional modes are included. What you can see on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, you could see a lot of additional modes are included. HDR Pro, super resolution, which you can take pictures in 64 megapixel. That's a pretty high resolution. So those are some of the options available. So in terms of the features being offered, ASUS Zenfone 3 Max offers higher features, but then the interface wise Moto G4 Plus is pretty simple to use. Now talking about the camera samples taken from these two phones, we would say the Moto G4 Plus is the better choice out of these two phones, because you could see that Moto G4 Plus produces a really good colors, sharpness levels are also impressive, and overall a great performer in terms of the camera. Now the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max has this issue of yellow tint added to the photos. That's one issue we have noticed when taking photos with the Zenfone 3 Max. So you could see that the yellow tint appears in almost all photos, and that's a drawback. Now talking about the selfie experience, you could see that the Moto G4 Plus again is a better choice here in terms of selfie experience. Even with the 5 megapixel shooter, it produces much better selfies than the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So in terms of the overall camera performance, we would give it to the Moto G4 Plus. Now finally talking about the battery. So Moto G4 Plus has a 3000 mAh battery, while we have a 4100 mAh battery on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So obviously the battery performance is better on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max, and you also have this option of reverse charging. That means you can use the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max to reverse charge other phones. For example, I can charge the Moto G4 Plus using the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max using the OTG cable provided in the box. So that is an additional feature of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. Now talking about the other aspect, we have a fingerprint scanner on the rear panel, while it's on the front panel on the Moto G4 Plus. Now speed of this fingerprint scanner, we would give it to the Moto G4 Plus, which works really well, but the positioning of the fingerprint scanner on the Moto G4 Plus is not really that great. It does confuse with the home button, which is on screen, so that's an issue unless you get used to the device. Now the fingerprint scanner on the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max is also quite decent, but in terms of the performance, we would say the Moto G4 Plus has the better fingerprint scanner. So now finally, which is the better device to buy here? So if you're looking for a stylish device, well-built metallic device, then it's the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. But apart from that, if you look at the software, the camera and performance aspect, Moto G4 Plus is also a quite good device, because it will be getting the Android 7.0 update, and the camera is really good. It's an exceptional camera in this price segment. So if camera is your priority, then Moto G4 Plus is the better choice. So we'll sum up the pros and cons. ASUS Zenfone 3 Max has a good design and build quality, a good display, and a decent performance in terms of gaming experience, and excellent battery. And the cons of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max include a blotted UI, a lot of bloatwares are included in the UI, and it's also priced higher, and then also the camera performance is not that great. Now the pros of Moto G4 Plus include a good display, good software, excellent camera, and decent battery life along with decent performance. Now where the Moto G4 Plus loses out is the heating issue that is not yet finished, and it's a plasticky build quality, not really that great, and the battery performance is quite decent, not up to the mark of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So those are the pros and cons of the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max and the Moto G4 Plus. So if you're planning to buy the device on a tight budget, definitely the Moto G4 Plus is the choice, because it's priced almost 3k lower than the ASUS Zenfone 3 Max. So that's all guys with the detailed comparison of these two phones. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.